Yes, of course, you can outsource customer service, but whether you should depends on a question most businesses skip entirely. Get this wrong and you hand a stranger the keys to your customer relationships with no map. Outsourcing customer service means hiring a third-party provider to handle all the customer interactions on your behalf. That could include inbound calls, emails, live chat, complaints, technical support, and social media messaging. The vendor's agents represent your brand. They are your customer service in the eyes of the customer. That shared definition matters because the risks and the decisions that follow all depend on it. There are three situations where outsourcing genuinely makes sense. First, for volume spikes. If your team gets overwhelmed at peak periods, a third party can help absorb that overflow without you hiring permanently. Second, coverage gaps. If customers contact you outside your operating hours and you're not responding, you're probably losing them. An outsourced provider can cover perhaps evenings, weekends, or time zones where your staff can't internally. Third, internal capacity. If your team is spending significant time on routine inquiries that a specialist could handle, outsourcing frees them for higher value work. What outsourcing is not, though, primarily is a cost-cutting tool. Treat it as one of them and you'll cut corners on the thing your customers notice most. But if any of those three situations apply, it is worth a serious look. Most businesses worry about the wrong risk. They focus on vendor quality or cost. The more common failure is more subtle. A business outsources before it has defined what good actually looks like. So think about it this way. If a customer calls with a complaint and your outsourced agent doesn't know your refund policy, your tone of voice, or when to escalate versus resolve, they'll improvise. And that improvisation becomes your brand. The vendor cannot replicate a standard you haven't written down. There are also real considerations around data handling and compliance, particularly if customer data is sensitive. Those need to be addressed in any contract too. But the primary readiness test is this. Can you describe in writing what a great customer interaction looks and sounds like for your business? If you can't, you're not ready to outsource. Not because outsourcing doesn't work, but because you haven't given it anything to work with. So here's a decision rule. Outsource if volume, coverage gaps, or internal capacity make it worth evaluating. But only move forward once you can hand over the context, not just the calls. That means substantial written briefs, your tone, your policies, your escalation paths, and examples of good interactions. If you can produce that document, you're ready. If you can't, write it first. And that document is useful whether you outsource or not. It's a thing that makes any customer service consistent, internal or external. One more thing though, start with a defined scope. Some businesses outsource tier 1 inquiries and keep complex or sensitive cases in-house. And that's a sensitive middle ground if you're not ready to hand over everything. If that was of value, subscribe to the channel for one real business question answered every video. For the same clarity in writing, the website and newsletter is 5minutebusiness.com.